Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to be looking at two-step inequalities. The other ones that we looked at in the previous video were equations because there's an equal sign. Now the inequalities is because we're going to have an inequality sign between the left and right side. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look what we've got here. So now we're looking at steps to solve for the unknown variable of a two-step inequality. Two-step inequality. All right, so now we're going to take a look at these steps. Okay, but if you'll notice, they are exactly the same. Step one, step two. Okay, take a screenshot here if you need to, and you will compare them. If you will, you can compare them to the equalities. Okay, the equations from a moment ago. There's one small piece that's different. Okay, this is the process is different, but there's one little note that you've got to remember. Okay, this is very important. If the very last step, okay, if it involves multiplying or dividing by a negative value, if you multiply or divide by a negative value, then you must flip the inequality sign. Okay, you got to change directions on the inequality sign. Okay, so I'm going to do these four examples very quickly, because we know the process, we know the steps. But anytime we get to this last piece where we have to flip the inequality sign or switch directions, I will make sure I point that out. Okay, so let's look at example one. Okay, example one, very quickly. All right, so again, you will draw your, if you need to, you can draw your balance line real quick. And then on our left side, we have a positive 12. Remember, do not look at what's behind. Okay, well, let's see. Always look at what's in front. Well, there's no positive or negative. Well, if there's nothing in front, then it's automatically assumed to be a positive value. So let's subtract 12 from the left, which gives me 0. But if I subtract on the left, I must subtract on the right. Very good. Okay, so that means 24 minus 12 is 12. I'm going to bring this down. So now I have 3x, pay attention closely, greater than 12. So now the last step would be to divide by 3. Good. Divide by 3 on both sides. So x is greater than 4. Okay, that was the same process. The only difference in this process on this page is that you have an inequality sign. Okay, an inequality sign. Remember, in order to, as you're working through these processes, as you're looking at this beginning of this pre-algebra work, you're always going to read it from the variable. So you would say x is greater than 4, x is greater than 4. Okay, start reading from the variable. Now, you could say 4 is less than x, but that's typically not how it's spoken. You typically speak using the variable first. All right, take a quick picture. All right, example 2. Okay, so example 2. Okay, so if you need to draw your line, that works. All right, so then if you have a 2x, subtract 3, minus 3 on the right-hand side, so then you're going to add 3 because that's the inverse or the opposite operation. It gives me a 0. So I'm going to add 3 on the left side, which gives me 20. That's a bad 2. Okay, so then you're going to bring everything down and rewrite it. 20 is greater than or equal to 2x. But Mr. Gerald, I know. I was just wanting to see if you were paying attention. Very good. I'm very proud of you. You're paying attention. So now we have 2x is less than or equal to 20. We don't need 2x, we need x. So we've got to divide by 2, which gives me a 1. Divide the left side by 2. 20 divided by 2 gives me, 10 is greater than or equal to x. So x, okay, and you can rewrite this if you want to. Okay, so x, if x is less than or equal to 10, don't leave this inequality. Do not leave it pointed. If you rewrite it, you can't leave it pointed the same direction. X is less than or equal to 10. These two are the exact same. Okay? Okay, because if you were to start on, let's see, let me use purple. If you started here on this side and said x is less than or equal to 10. Okay, you could speak it that way. Now, if you spoke it here and said, on the bottom one, it said x less than or equal to 10. So if you start with the variable and read it, it should read the same from the left or the right side when you rewrite it. Okay, if that does not make sense, okay, and then I can help you with that later, but you can rewrite it either way, but you've got to make sure that it, as you speaking it will help you to remember how to do that. So this is the example 2 for inequality. So if you have questions, you can shoot me a text on Remind, and we can discuss it further. All right, now example number 3. Let's look at example 3. Okay, so now we're going to work through the same steps. We're subtracting 9, so that gives me 9 minus 9 is 0. I'm going to subtract 9 on the right side. 27 minus 9 would give me 18. Excellent. Now let's bring down, okay, this other variable. This variable, if you will notice, the coefficient is a negative 3. So we have negative 3x is less than or equal to 18. So the last step would be to divide, but you cannot leave this negative sign off. You can't. Your problem will not be correct. So if we're divided by negative 3, divided by negative 3. So the left side, negative 3 divided by negative 3, a negative value divided by, or the value divided by itself would still give me a positive 1. On the right side, a positive 18 divided by negative 3. X would be less than or equal to negative 6. Is that it? No, that's not it. Okay, remember, okay, if the last piece said if we divide or multiply by a negative value, divide by negative number, okay, or multiply by negative number, then we have to do what? Flip inequality. Okay, so the inequality here needs to be flipped. So that means my final answer is x is greater than or equal to negative 6. Okay, I want to see if somebody was paying attention. I know that who you are. You already you caught my mistake. Well, not my mistake, but you caught my process. I want to make sure you're paying attention. Okay, any questions? No questions? Either you guys got this or you're still asleep. Okay, that's example 3 for inequality. One more quick example. Okay, one more quick example. Go back to red. I prefer, I tell you what, I heard somebody tell me they want pink. Okay, so we're going to do, okay, we'll split this up. Not split it, but separate like that. Okay, so then we're going to take a look at this positive 6. You're looking in front of the 6. Don't look behind it. So I'm subtracting 6, which gives me a 0. And I'm going to subtract 6 over here. 72 minus 6 would give me... Nobody? 66. Okay, somebody's paying attention. All right, so let's rewrite everything. So now you have 66 is greater than or equal to... Do not. You cannot forget your negative sign. Well, Mr. Gerald, that's a subtraction. And this, it's the same thing. Okay, yes, it is. Yes, just make sure you bring that down as well. Okay, so it's a negative 11x. 66 is greater than or equal to negative 11x. When you divide by negative 11, this would give me a 1. Divide by negative 11 on the left side. This gives me negative 6. But what do I do with this inequality sign? I'm going to flip it. So that gives me x is greater than or equal to negative 6. Okay. Take a quick snapshot of this one. Look at that. The answers are written a little bit differently, but you speak them the same. On the left side, you say x is greater than or equal to negative 6. On the right side, you'll say x is greater than or equal to negative 6. Okay. All right. Are there any questions? Okay, no questions. Okay, this is the worksheet for inequalities. Okay, so as you're working through these upcoming problems, you can use these 2 videos. excuse me, there's 3 videos. I'm going to put one more video out real quick. So if you got questions, please shoot me a message on Remind. Thanks.